Hi there. A couple of people asked for a video on divs and spans, so that's what we'll do now. So let's say we want to make a page like this. So it's got a header at the top and a bit of text, and then it's got a red box here with a warning in it. Now the warning, there's two things. There's this thing, which looks like a header, and then there's this text, which looks like a paragraph. So we want both of these things together in the same box. And the way we do that is with a div tag that groups them together. Then inside this text, there's just one word there, spook, that we want to have a special look as well. And to do this, we'll use a span tag. Okay, over here is, let's pretend it's a folder where I keep my work on exercises. I'm going to make a new folder, as I do for every task that I do. So I'll click on new folder, and I'll call this one, how about dog toys? Seems like a reasonable thing. Okay, now I'm going to open this up in brackets. So I right click on the folder, open in brackets. Brackets will start, and I'll just move it down here a bit. So we can see it. All right. Okay, so brackets has started now. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I might shrink this. Shrink this a little bit if I can figure that out. There we go. That's about right. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the template that we use for a page. When I've got that in there, I'll fill in the HTML and the styles for this. So the template is given on a basic page structure, and so I'll just copy that and copy, go down here. I'm going to make a new file, which I'll call dog toys, sog toys. Nope, not sog toys. All right. And we'll paste that in there. Okay, so I've got that. Now let's work on it a bit. Let's see, the title, maybe we'll say dog toys. All right, that sounds fine. Now this first one maybe is an H1. All right, so we'll get rid of that and put in an H1, and we'll just do dog toys again. Control C, Control V. All right. Now I've got a paragraph here. So that's the heading. Now we've got a paragraph, so that looks just like a regular paragraph. So we'll just put that in there. And I'm going to get some text from a site called Doggo Ipsum rather. And it's got some stuff here generated for me. So I'll just take the first sentence like that, and we'll make that our text for the start. Okay, so let's see what we've got. We've got a heading 1, okay, and we've got this piece. Now we're going to need, we'll make this like a heading 2, but remember that we're going to we're going to make this a heading 2 in a paragraph. We're going to need to wrap them in a div, so that we can style the entire div at once. And when we do that, we'll be styling the group. So we'll put in a div tag. We'll come back to add something there later. And inside that, there's an H2, which is going to be warning. Okay. And then there's, looks like another P. And we need some more Doggo Ipsum, so we'll take this thing right there, put it down there. Okay, let's save that. Now let's see what we've got so far. Remember, you've got this handy dandy live preview thing, so I'll click that and shrink this down so we can keep an eye. Okay, that looks pretty good. It's not styled yet, of course, but let's see. We've got dog toys. This bit up here matches that. We've got some text there, Warning, is it a warning? Okay, all right. Okay, so let's start styling it. There's a couple of differences. Another thing is that you can see that the font is different. This is a sans serif font, and this is the default serif font, so I'll need to take care of that as well. Now, I'm going to put the all the styles in a separate file called a style sheet. That's a good thing to do, is that means you can, if you have an entire website, you can use one style sheet and the styling will always be consistent. But I've forgotten how to do that. Now, let's see if I can remember. Okay, that's the page structure thing. And if I look on the style sheets lesson, we'll see that this is how you do it. You create a separate file, and you can call it anything .css. Styles.css is a common name. And then you link to it in the HTML file in the heading section. So I'm going to paste that in there. All right, that looks pretty good. Okay, so this says, okay, browser, to style this page, go load the file styles.css, and it'll have all the styles you need, all the styling information. So let's see if I can get this to work. So I need to make a new file called styles.css, new file, style, I messed that up, styles.css. Okay, all right. Now the first thing I'll do is I'll make the font use the sans serif font. Easiest way to do that is to style the entire body tag. So by doing this, we're applying a style to the entire body tag. And if we look, the body tag contains everything that is on the page that we can display, right? So that's a convenient thing. I'll just get rid of some of the extra lines here that we don't need, make it easier to see. All right. Okay. So let's go back to here. So here's the body tag, and if I apply a style to that, everything that we can see will be styled. So let's make it font family, and brackets gives you a nice list of things that you might want to select from. I'm going to use serif. I'm going to save that. All right, I'm going to go over here and refresh this. Maybe I didn't save this one yet. Aha, I didn't save this yet, so this line hasn't taken effect. I can tell because I think that, is that dot? Yeah, that dot up there meant that it wasn't saved. The dot's gone because I hit Control S, and now I've saved it. We'll see that a bit later too. Still not working out. What didn't I do right here? Dog-toys, HTML. Styles, body, font family, serif, style sheet styles.css. Let me do this. Now why isn't that working? Rel style sheet, href, styles, body, font family. Oh, I forgot to put sans serif. I put serif, which is just the default anyway, so nothing changed. By the way, these sorts of things happen all the time to me. I always make mistakes like this. That's normal. The bigger thing is how do you respond to the mistakes. There we go. All right, and now you can see it looks like that. So get used to making mistakes, and figuring out what you did wrong is really the key here. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now we want this in a box, right? And the box will contain both the heading and this content. So let's go back here. That's what I put the div in here for. All right. So let me give this a class, and what would be a good name for that class? Well, warning. Seems like a decent idea. All right, I'll save that. We'll go back to CSS, and now I'll define a style for that. By the way, as I start typing this, I've made changes to this file. I haven't saved them yet. That's how that dot appears. If when I hit File, Save, that dot will go away. Okay, so that's a useful thing. All right, now let's see what we might want here. How about border color? Looks like it's red, doesn't it? BORDER-C. And notice how useful brackets is in helping us figure that out. And red, that looks reasonable. All right, now let's see what we've got so far. I'll save that, and I'll save that. I did something else wrong again. Class equals warning, styles, dot warning, border color. Oh, because we don't have a border thickness yet, so it's not showing anything. Okay, border thickness, no, border size, that's what it is. It's not that. Width, there we go. This is actually a thick one. And I might as well put in border style, although we're not changing the default here, so it really doesn't matter. But so it's solid. So so we have a red, thick, solid border. Okay, that's looking pretty good, except look at this. So we've got the border around here. It's right up against the text. That doesn't look very good, does it? I don't like that at all. If we look up here, there's a bit of a gap there, small gap. So how do I get a gap between the border and the content? Well, that's what padding is. Remember, there's padding and there's margins. Margins is the gap outside the border. Padding is the gap inside the border. So we'll go down here, we'll put padding of 5 pixels. Hey, look at that. That's looking pretty good. Look at this. That's selected, it's why it's purple. Okay, but that's looking pretty good. There we go. All right, let's see what we've got. We got dog toys, we got that. Oh, we need a word in here that has some special styling. Now, if we go back to the HTML, that's what the span tag is for. So span tag, you can change the look of content inside a paragraph or a list item or a title or anything. Let's make the word diet. Oh no, it's a terrible word. We'll make that. We'll put the span. So just like the div says, start the class warning here, use the class warning between the start of the div and the end, span does the same thing. It says use this style that we're going to define in a moment, Control V, between these span, between the begin and end span tags. So I'll call this one, let's see, how about important? All right, there we go. Pretty cool. So we've just applied a span to this word diet. It's this word here, but we haven't actually said what to do with it. Let's go over here. Okay, important. Now, let's see. Let's go back up here and look. It looks like, well, it's obviously red, and it looks like it's bold as well. So why don't we do that? Okay, font, oops, W-E-I-G-H-T, B-O-L-D. Hey, look at this over here. Brackets is actually showing as we go how what things look like. That looks pretty good, but we need to get the color right. So color red. Okay, and that looks like it. We've got, yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, so to recap, what I did is I made a folder for this exercise. I started up brackets. I created a file that I called dogtoys.html. First thing I did was I pasted in this template. Okay, this is our standard template that I pasted in there. And then I fixed the title and got rid of this bit of content. Then I went and added the heading one because it looked like there was a heading there. Then paragraph here. And then I wanted to group these two things together because I want to put a border around both of them together. And so that's why I put the div in there. And inside the div, I put the warning. I put this title here. That was an H2, and then a paragraph for that. So this is called wrapping. So I wrapped the warning and the paragraph inside this div. I gave the div a class of warning. And down here, I did the same thing with the span, and I gave it a class of important. I wanted to link an external style sheet, so I made a new file, styles.css, and I link it in with this statement. Link rel equals style sheet href equals the name of the CSS file. Then I need to define three things in the CSS file. First, I wanted to define all the font to be sans serif. So I put that on the body tag, seeing all the contents in the body, that styles everything. Then for this wrapping here, the div, I wanted to define a border. So border red, it's thick and it's solid. I wanted a small gap here between the border and the text, so that's why I added padding of 5 pixels. Last thing was this word, which had a span of important with a class of important. Font weight bold, color red. Notice the dot here, the period here. That's because I used a class equals warning. So when you define a class, you put a period in front of it, so the browser knows that you're talking about a class called warning. This doesn't have a period because this is the tag itself. There is a body tag. There is no warning tag, so this is saying I want to define a class called warning. And this a class called important. So that's it. Hope that was helpful. If there are other videos you want, just let me know.